find the favorite little eraser board, but you'll see me here holding it up, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, or it could be anything. She might give me a look and say, this is a question I'm gonna ask, and I'll print that on there, and we'll go from there. So I get the. You're gonna have a book. So let me get my card for that.
So I'm actually shooting a documentary for this place, so I'm gonna get some of this back. I guess I have to get some relief forms because we're using some of this behind the scenes for the documentary. All about the early Lux and how, how she started. First year. Relief forms.
All right, ready? For those of you who do not know me, I'm Natalie. I'm your hostess with Melissa's for this evening. So some mental issues, and I'm gonna start with the ultimate. So just let you know, the trash, the keystone. Sorry, I just never substance. I'll keep talking though. Stop the trash, the keystone. I'll do the intro, and then from there we'll go down the line doing introductions. And so you'll introduce yourself and say what it is that you do and why it is that you do it. Moving from there, we'll go into why you chose the path that you have chosen within the urban gardening and community work, urban farming world. And then we're gonna get into a little bit of logistics as far as how does litter impact your work, and then also why is it important now more than ever for people to understand and be able to grow their own food and build community through urban gardening and urban farming? Your turn. There will be a time, so if you have questions, because we do have audience members here today, normally we don't, that if you do have a question, you can let Ms. Drew know once we get to the end. We'll have you ask your question to the panelists or specific panelists or the whole panel, and then we'll get that in there.
Oh, press the recording?
When you're ready.
Okay, phone silent.
Okay.
You can give it like a recording.
Oh. Let me get my text up to date. I'm supposed to.
Airplane mode goes. Please try not to have it on vibrate either, because then we'll also hear that on the audio.
You turn it.
Friday, later, I'm gonna make your phone answer the question. When you say turn it off, you're gonna say, are you sure?
Please hook me up. Hook me up. Hook me up. No, I need you to put on there. On the rocks for me. That's what I need.
Natalie, can you give me my red badge so I can turn it off with my phone? Our guest from last night here. Well, they're into the garden thing.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Well,
We'll have to,
great.
now they introduce us to the program.
Oh, yes,
Look at it.
they were fantastic.
Yes.
Great energy.
This should you thinking 45?
Hmm?
You thinking 45? 25. Or 60? 45. Okay.
No, 60, so we may have to edit out.
I ran right to the bed, looked around the handle, was like, oh, this is mine. Thank you for this gorgeous red bath. It's mine. And then Bernie, just check the visuals one more time, and if you are good, and Miss June are good, and we can roll. You are all fabulous. And then you tell me what else together, just write up 5.
Are you ready for 2? For 1 minute countdown? We're good? All right, let's do timekeeping. 1 minute countdown.
My main questions for this side. Y'all excited? Yes.
Are you gonna be able to, this is live, right, so there's no cutting and editing?
Oh,
Yes, so
yes.
I edit.
There
Yes,
is.
I edit.
Yes,
Yes, there is editing.
There is
Okay.
editing. Not live.
So you can cuss and cut up, and we can, have a later.
Or no, so let's work later.
Somebody's getting some eggs. Stop. Who's getting some eggs?
Egg rolls, veggie egg rolls, number 6.
Time stop.
I'm not gonna stop here. I'm gonna
Yeah, we got a whole, yeah, got a whole song.
And I'm recording already, just so it's,
All right.
Audio and visual.
audio and visual.
Thank you.
It's going down.
Thank you, thank you. Alright. Myself, it's like every time.
It's good.
Well, you know what, prayer is good, it changes the molecular structure of water. It changes the molecular structure of cells.
I'm talking
I
about.
said,
Say, remember this. You are well fed. You are healthy. Thank you so much for everything we had to go through for me to.
I'm over here somewhere.
I would just like to say that Jody is the one making. Do you speak that?
If you want to go, or I'd be like, hey, you are. If you want to absorb in my skin, thank you. Ever since I saw the experiment when they froze the water after speaking to it in different ways and how it froze, I was like, oh.
I really do that.
That means you know you are loved.
Okay, we're just gonna go countdown. Ready, Rodney? Here we go.
He's running. We just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yep, 5, 3, 2.
Last stop.
We gonna do that again.
Last stop.
Because in the edit, I'm just starting for me to do it anyway. I typically clap. As
Oh,
well.
yes.
And for Riley. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Talking Trashes Podcast, the Peace Talk, episode 10. And as you can see, we have some amazing guests today, and I'm super excited to get into it. But before we do, let me let you know where you are and what this is. Talking Trash Podcast, the Peace Talk, is all about how litter impacts our lives in ways that we know of and ways that we have no idea about. And that includes how it affects us environmentally, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, but also financially, economically, how does it impact us? Safety-wise, how does it impact us? Mentally and physically, how does litter impact our everyday lives and our health? So let's jump right into it. Today we are talking about urban gardening and urban farming and how it's an act of love and resistance, okay? And resilience, y'all, because that's how we sustain. So we're just going to go down the line and we're going to introduce these amazing guests. They're going to talk a little bit about who they are and what they do. So let's start on this end. We're going to introduce Miss Natalie Perkins.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Perkins. I am a co-garden leader at the South Mill Community Garden. We are small but mighty. We do a lot of things in the community. We look at ourselves not just as a garden that grows vegetables and flowers, but that grows connections and community.
Nice, thank you. And Miss Vanessa Stokes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Stokes. I am an artist and an entrepreneur. I am the founder of the Out West Gallery and Cafe, which will be opening hopefully in 2026. But I am a community organizer, do a lot of work in the community of Austin on the west side. I'm also part of the garden that Robert is about at Paradise Garden.
Okay.
Yeah, long-standing community member, just working to same as Natalie, right, and just helping to connect folks to the community. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for being here, the both of you. Now we're moving on over to this side and we have Miss Gwen Perfect.
Hello, everyone. I'm with Blacks and Green, which is located at 6431 South Cottage Grove Avenue, and we are the creators of the Sustainable Square Mile. And in that, we advocate for clean energy, clean water. We have mini gardens in the community. We have an Emmett Till house and a guest house and just a number of things. But in relation to gardening, that's how I'm connecting the food to the growing through Blacks and Green.
Sure, thank you. And last but certainly not least, our male energy for the day, ladies, okay? Aren't you blessed around all
Yes,
these
I am.
beautiful community working women? Mr.
Yes.
Robert Hart.
Hello, my name is Robert Hart. I am a retired veteran, and plus two, I like gardening. I got started in it when I went to Germany, but I've been in gardening all my life with my mother. She raised garden herself, and came off a farm. We also did sharecropping. Many people don't know about that. But sharecropping is something where Jim Crow law came in, okay? And the town on farm is named Elaine, Arkansas. They had a big ride down there. And a lot of people got killed. I don't want to really go into the action of that, but I'm getting back to the garden. My garden is Heart Peace Community Garden. Also, I have another garden, which is Paradise. And I just raise food, and I try and connect a lot of families with food. Normally I take and fill up my wheelbarrow, go down the block, ask people who want this and that. I usually have peas, butter bean, cabbage, tomato, peppers, all different kind of peppers. And I just give it away.
That's beautiful. That's community right there. Just walking down the street, hey, you need some of this? Come get you some of this. Definitely appreciate it. I wish you lived near me. I definitely need some of all of it. All right, well, thank you all again for being here. And you actually, Mrs. Robert, you led us right into the next question on how you got into doing the work that all of you all do. And so you said you started in Germany, actually.
No, I seen how they were farming in Germany.
Okay, so
And
you can
I like the way
retire on
they
that.
did it but they do a lot of composting.
Mhm.
Like what they do, they take a pile of hay, like dig a hole and put hay in it, put a plastic wrap over it, and in the springtime, they spread it out. And that's how they raise their food. And that's how they have fertilizer also.
So when you started gardening, or what led you into your lane, was that working with your elders in your life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I regret doing what I did when I was younger, because I tried to kill everything my mama raised. Because I didn't want to go to that pump and pump that water and carry it out to the garden. Yes, but right now,
Look at you now.
we got water hoses and things, and we got hydrant now, I love it.
That's amazing. Thank you, thank you. How did you get started?
Oh, wow. Well, I've known Naomi for some time, who is the founder and executive director of Blacks and Green. And I used to volunteer from time to time, and being a visual artist. I was teaching at colleges and the prisons and what have you, and bringing the kids into the projects. And working with Naomi and working with the kids, you know, I started just getting more and more into the gardening component and just the community part of it and helping each other. So Blacks and Green has the Maybe Till Forgiveness Garden, the Sustainability Teaching Garden, there's the Origin of the Ancestors. You know, we have a demonstration garden at headquarters, and then we're gonna have the Richard Hunt Sculpture Garden. So I'm the director of the Big Botanic Gardens and Farms program now, so I created a curriculum
Congratulations.
to go with maintaining the gardens and teaching the people in the community in West Woodlawn how to do the gardening and the growing and all the little aspects involving that, the safety and such. And the more I did that, the better it got. So my connection as a visual artist who's always just loved foliage, trees, things that grow. When I put my hands in the soil, it's something that soothes my soul. And so it became very satisfying for me to decompress. And so having all those gardens to play with, you know, it was just like a dream come true. So I learned a lot more about gardening because I'm not, you know, my field is not horticulture at all. But I read, you know, I research, and I love learning. So now I'm in a learning environment, and it has a lot to do with growing. So I grow collard greens and
Okay.
peppers
I have
and
to see both of
herbs. I connect them with the induction equipment that we have also, that we try to teach the seniors about and other people. And so I'll take those collard greens, harvest them, go over to Jewel's, buy some salmon, maybe a bottle of wine, and take it over to the senior building. Take a portable unit over there, and they can see me sauteing those collard greens and that salmon. And, you know, it's a great experience, and it's collective. They can't necessarily get out. And so gardening, I mean, you're gonna have to do something with all that, so we give it away, and, you know, we use it on the show too with the organization, so I use it in with the events that I manage too. So.
And building community while doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Suzanne, who works up there also, she was selling starts, and so I germinate the seeds from and then I take the starts and I replant them into the demonstration garden that I then use as food that we can use to introduce to the seniors or whomever that comes to the facility.
That's amazing. And then I'm sure we can all probably speak to, I know I can, when it comes to working in the garden, putting your hands in the soil and just being in that environment, how peaceful it is.
You see those butterflies and those
You
bees
know,
and all
I love holidays.
grasshoppers that
too.
used to be as a kid, yeah.
Make you feel like you're in a fairy tale almost. But grounding is the thing though, and it's scientifically proven that it does help your health, your energy levels, your mood to be outside one, but then to literally be in the soil, whether it's your feet or your hands.
I think that's why Naomi likes having the garden. So we recently acquired more property and we're gonna turn it into food gardens. Right now, most of them are ornamental with the exception of the demonstration garden. So now we wanna do more food gardening so that we can become a hub for resilience in the community that way as well.
Nice. Thank you for that. What about you?
So how did I get into gardening? Well, so I've always been into nutrition. I think nutrition is like the building blocks of this humanness, right? So after I had my son, I became a breastfeeding care counselor. So I was working with moms and babies, with breastfeeding, and it kind of shifted me into food. So my mother was one of the Paradise Gardens, so we used to plant in that garden. And food has always been a big deal in our household. So, I'm a foodie. My dad was from Jamaica. So, we were introduced to different foods as a child. So, just going out in the community and just, folks are, they just don't have those types of flavors that folks are used to, right? So, food has always been a big deal in my household, so it just seemed like that was the trajectory for me, it's like food. So just opening this cafe in the gallery space, which is going to be a permanent gallery of my father's arts. My father, he had the first Black owned photography studio in Chicago, so I've been managing his work.
And please say his name.
Darrell Crichton. So he passed away in 2011, but he left behind this large archive of images. So I've been managing that for over 25 years. So I've been working to get that out to the open. It's a lot of work. So I pick it up and I put it down, pick it up, put it down. So that kind of got me connected in the community by doing, public art. So I did some public art. Some of his art is in the Green Light stations at Central and Austin, in the Austin community. So, I've been, just being very active in art and culture. And, just gardening is also culture, right, and art. So, combining all of those things to just to show people or show, just how much, richness that we have in our community with our stories, with, just with people. I think it's an important part of how we build community. So that's kind of what the space is gonna be like. But then it'll also have a cultivating component, right? So one of the things that I also saw that was very important in the community was to kind of bridge that gap with business and art culture, which I think is a big deal, especially along our corridor, right? Corridor development is really important. People need to see that, you can walk down the street and go to a grocery store, or go to a cafe, or, all of those things that I think that are missing in our communities, right? So I was working with a nonprofit organization, kind of helping them build Chicago Avenue. So that's where the Atlas Gallery Cafe is going to be. So it's just a bridging of our culture, housing, corridor development, all the parts that are other parts of community development. So it's a lot of fun. I get to play in the art world. I get to play in the business world. I get to play in all these different spaces. So it's a lot of fun to do this work around gardening. So.
And congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Natalie, how did you get started?
Well, first I want to say I met Vanessa almost 7 years ago now. She was, in a way, helping Gardens Then. She was helping people learn and understand how to do simple micro grants for the Safe and Peaceful Communities application, which was part of Chicago Community Trust.
Oh my God, that's important.
I know. So you are not telling the story, right?
She's like, hold on, I got you, sis. Don't worry about it.
Yes, and she was helping people understand how to do this so that they could gain monies to help their gardens, especially during the summer. And that's through programming, activities, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it. You know what I mean?
She's
like,
it's part of it.
I feel like it's part of it. You know what I mean? I don't really consider, I'm not a grant writer because people always ask me that. But I write grants.
But she was a caretaker of people
Yeah.
to help them find their way to get this money.
Because the idea of writing grants scares people out. They're like, nope.
That is why she was there.
Yes.
That is why, and then I was like, oh, I can do that. I think because I talked to her, like, how do you do that? What do you do? How are you gonna do this? And I was just like, so that in a way helped me. So I'm a photographer, and I started out in a project over at Sweetwater Foundation. You guys know Perry Street Farm, Sweetwater, with Emmanuel, and I'm lazy, and I couldn't get over there. And so I said, I have to find something in my neighborhood. And that's how I came to work at the South Merrill Community Garden with our co-leaders there. And it was wonderful, but I wanted to do more of that. And I started working part-time for a land trust called Neighbor Space, which Mr. Robert and Paradise Garden is part of. We're all connected in a way. And so, yeah, I started working with them, and now I'm a steward for gardens all over the city. And each garden is very different. I'm going to say I am a gardener of people. I haven't tried to grow things. I can grow tomatoes now, so I'm good. After 5 years, I can grow tomatoes.
That's why there's some other people.
Yes.
So
And
you see, my name's come up all the time.
Listen, you out here doing the work.
So, you know, I've been having people around Chicago and close
for a
to.
long time.
The garden is something that I like, and I like planting different plants. If it don't work this year, hey, try it another way, you know, because some gardens just try and fail, you know.
And that's
And
actually
then
a
the
great
other-
point too, because
Yes.
I wanna talk and know a little bit about like what was the struggles in starting the gardens that you all have or that you all work with. And I know you work really closely with South Merrill, and each of you work really closely with specific gardens. And you just keep linking me into my questions. You just,
I gotta look
you in
at
my
you.
head, you in my head. But yeah, so like some of that trial and error, like what, if someone wanted to start a garden, what would be some of the things that they would look out for, or maybe some advice or some tips that you all think?
Chemical,
Chemical to look out for?
yes, and like paint and stuff like that. The first thing you should do is test the soil,
Okay.
yes. And if the soil is, have chemical or something in it, you don't want to plant right into that, you know.
Is that when you feel like
And,
the boxes?
Yes, the raised
Raised
bed
bed.
is a good thing too, but you wanna put down something that cover that chemical up. And, try and put enough down so it will come back up through that, you know. And my garden, I have a lot of chips down,
Which is?
Yeah. I have a lot of chips down, and plus too, I got raised bed. So I don't have too much worry about the chemical.
And
All I have to worry about now is bugs, rats, and rat. I had 2 big rats in my garden.
Oh, they come grab it.
Yeah. Mhm.
We named all the things you got in the garden. They feasted over there. Natalie, were you gonna answer?
I was just gonna say, I'd rather have the rabbits than the rats, any day, but they're all, I hate to say it, they're all vermin. And what Mr. Robert is saying true, so for Neighbor Space, we know that most of the lots that we have were once building lots. So just like Mr. Robert said, there will be chemicals, and for us, not every garden, but Neighbor Space Gardens, we do have to do the remont and renovation of the soil. So we do soil removal, and then like Robert said, then we put down chips and we have raised beds. And inside of the raised bed, you have a layer of something, either geotech or cardboard. You can layer it lasagna style and then put the soil over it.
Well, what was some struggles that you all have? You've named several gardens that you all do with Blacks and Green.
One is a Bob and Ted garden, but on the average, in the urban environment, you have vacant lots. And so it's a great idea to do raised bed gardens. But I'd like to say, of course, you use liners and such, which is like the lasagna. But I like to say, you can garden in a container. You can garden on your windowsill. You can have herbs that you have right there in the kitchen that you can cook fresh with. On your back porch, you can have a little planter, or several planters for that matter. You can have a whole edge of them. And you can have in your front yard, and you can eat right off the vine, right there in your own home, without spending a bunch of money, without worrying about the leaching, you know, and just have fresh food. Because if the truck don't come, at least you'll be able to eat.
I should.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ms.
Speaking
Jim.
of vines, I raised grapes. And this year, last year, I had so many grapes, I didn't know what to do with
You can give them to me.
Thanks,
But-
Jolly.
What
come
the
to
deal
me.
is, I'm going to learn how to make wine.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And I'll see how that come out.
I'll take some of that too.
Can
You know,
some,
I like to try different things anyway.
freeze it, can it, drink it, yes.
Jam.
Watch out, watch out.
Regular grapes, jam, grapes, wine, grapes, I love them work for me, absolutely. That's amazing though. That's amazing. Did you have any feedback on starting gardens or community spaces, some of those struggles, anything that you
Yeah, I
personally
mean, I think the biggest hurdle, is like finding ways to work with other spaces, right? Cause like amplifying the work that we're doing is such an important part, and creating those connections to different spaces, I think is a big part of how we create community around food. So, there's a lot of different people doing different things. How do we connect with those folks that are doing that work? I think that's the biggest, I would say, obstacle that I've had. Just like how do we get the people in the community to see the fact that this is something for us, right? Like, and not see it as it being separate, you know? So one of the things I did was I created this outdoor plaza space called Pop Courts.
Yes, and it's beautiful.
And so Pop Courts doesn't have a fence, right? And I did that purposefully because I thought it was important to show that this is how we work together, right? So I wanted people to walk through it, right? Instead of it being fenced in, which a lot of spaces tend to be fenced in, right? So I just a step in a direction to just to open it up so people can see the possibility of it being for all of us, right?
And actually, a community space.
An actual community space. I think it opens people up to see things that are already there, see Paradise, see, the Heart Peace Garden, to see all these spaces that have been there, right? Like just having a different way of looking at one thing can open us up to looking at everything differently.
Now, you all talked about the soil and how the soil can be contaminated, but that's a form of litter, right?
Yes.
That's a form of litter, but how does litter, whether it be the chemicals or physical trash being thrown on the ground, how does that litter impact you in your work that you do in the community with the garden?
Well, I started out with Heart Peace Garden by cutting 3 lots. That was really a dumping ground. I got sick of it because I was tearing up a lawnmower, cutting all this stuff and trying to go around and stuff like that. So what I did, I got with the land bank and I bought it. I bought those 3 lots, and right now, there's no dumping ground or anything, and it's right across in front of my house. So I started cutting down the trees that was there. And then I started putting chips and everything down. And CCG gave me a lot of plants, which I started putting plants in the ground and stuff like that. And they have 3 distribution. One of them is for the first distribution in the spring. We give out vegetable and fruits. So after that, we normally have 2 other distributions where we mix it with fruit and flowers. And the last one have flowers and shrubs, like bushes that you have around the house or something like that you want to beautify your house with, beautify your garden with. So in order for me to keep that.
Did you say they give those away free?
Yeah.
I was
They
definitely
don't
gonna
give
ask as well, so.
They don't give it away free. You have to have we have people give a donation,
Okay,
at least a $10
I
donation.
definitely need that number.
And some of the plants we give cost $14. Just that one gallon pot would cost $14 a bag.
And it's the
So-
CCGA, you said?
Yes, CCGA.
What does the acronym stand for?
Chicago Community Garden Association.
Association.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all heard it, check them out. Okay. We will. Everybody's like, oh. So how does, again, several gardens that you all are managing, in our community. I think I know that litter may be an issue.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, it would be great if, people would learn to care more about the land and not litter, you know, teach their children not to litter and why they shouldn't. So we have, our staff pick up paper and debris every day. And we sweep the curbs, we clean the curbs. And it's just an ongoing situation. You have less bags flying in the air due to the bag tax, you know, which is a good thing. And then other stuff, man, it's just always gonna be, you got kids running back and forth to school and, you know, young people who don't really think about those things, they dump something right out on the street there and think nothing of it. So there's a learning that needs to happen, there's a curve, there's a appreciation of the planet, you know, that the connection needs to happen. Maybe they can happen through the gardens, as you do more and more, in the schools they do more and more. And it begins to infiltrate into the conscious and subconscious, you know, so we just have to keep working and keep picking it up and help teach them about the garden, the elements of the garden, how the gardens are benefiting the environment, so that the kids don't have to walk past bottles and broken debris. They can walk through something that will inspire them and make them feel more valued and connect to the earth, which is really important, so.
I love that you said that it will inspire the young people. And it definitely is a mindset and an unlearning that has to happen, because there was a learning of littering that happened. They saw someone else do it, it became normal at some point, so now everybody's out there littering. But again, with podcasts like these, with Talking Trash and the initiatives we have, it's, yes, we're gonna clean it up, we gotta do that. But then we'll be cleaning up forever if we don't change the mind, so that the people don't throw it down in the first place. So I think that's beautiful, and then we deserve to live in a beautiful space. So like you said, that appreciation for what's there. If you see a beautiful garden, there should be something that triggers, like, I'm not, even if you gonna throw it, I would say don't throw it at all, but even if you gonna throw it, why would you throw it? Where you see someone has put work and effort
You know,
in
there is a misconception about the Black people's environments. You know, when you look around, you know, Naomi always says, what is it you think about when you think about Black folks? And most folks, you know, have some negative things that they think about, but to associate it with beauty, you know, and glory and value and all these positive things. And I think just continuously engaging the community and putting up signage to help them learn about the plants and the beneficial insects and, you know, the water drainage and all of the things, the natural things that contribute to a type of lifestyle that should be lifted up and appreciated versus ignored, you know. So the education in the gardens, you know, the work that we're doing is phenomenal work, and it's on the plane of the higher ups, because we're talking about elements that you can't recreate without that original thing, you know. So they're you can't buy it, you just have to live it.
And then that gardening of people that you all were talking about over here, right?
I just also wanna give some kudos to Blacks and Green. So Neighbor Space has 140 gardens.
Yes.
So that means I'm driving all over the place. But I've seen people walk by, I think it's the Heritage Garden,
Mhm.
and they're like, where did this come from? And they're awed, and they're happy, and they love to have it in the neighborhood. And the other garden that they have right down on that area, the Fairy Gardens. You have to visit the Fairy Gardens. Like, these are purpose made for the kids there. There's a little group called Hello Baby that's right there, but also I'm just shouting out all our people, Sunshine Ministries, everybody, those kids love those little fairy gardens. And that's something we can teach them to, you know, make, just like you said, make it home, make with your parents. So even if you're not in our garden or Blacks and Greens Fairy Garden, you can replicate that as a way to build with your family. It's just really beautiful.
Well, Dwayne Jarrett, who was our master gardener, he pretty much manages the fairy garden and the teaching garden. And so he works with Hello Baby, and there's another organization, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but they have people create these little houses. And all I do is I help Dwayne from time to time, but I also drop off little sunglasses. A little, there are little ponds and little houses and little frogs and things, and the kids just really love it, and it's just.
It's magical.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He actually was the guy who, created Naomi, Naomi created the first garden, which is the Sustainability Teaching Garden, which is right next door to Washington Park.
Mhm.
So, and right half a block down is the Fairy Garden, so he's amazing.
I think it's important that we make sure that when we think about these initiatives and the garden spaces that we're creating and the farms that we're creating, that we do think about how can we bring in the young people, because they are the next generation. And again, there's a learning that has already happened. And to combat that is the unlearning, and they're gonna be the ones having the next generation of children, right? What are they gonna teach their young people? So how do we do it on a community level, like having these beautiful spaces that they want to be in, that they want to take care of, but also going into the schools and creating programs where we can teach them and make it like over at South Mara, where my little one has been coming to the summer camp for a few years, where they can be in the garden every day, learning about things, playing, exploring. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I was just gonna turn it that way. Yeah, Natalie, we have each garden that's with Neighbor Space, they do their own programming. They figure out what type of garden that community needs. And our community needs a lot of involvement with our kids and our families to build the community. So because I like kids, I'm an artist, I like programming, I went to camp every summer from 7 till 19. My mother said goodbye. And that's the best way for kids to learn. It socializes them. It lets loose their imagination and their creativity. And they just also get outside. They get to get dirty, which not everybody appreciates. But that's something we should learn to appreciate, because that's part of life that we've lost, that you can get dirty and nothing will happen. And it's okay. You can get dirty, you can throw water balloons, you can scream.
And be a kid.
And be a kid. So we're giving them a chance to really be children and have their parents accept that and come into the garden and see, what did we create today? What did we learn today that we can give to everybody else?
I like to encourage the adults to do that too.
Yeah, and be a kid all ages.
Yes. It's important, because I think that's another thing. Our other garden leader, Diane Hodges, who is here today, they have learned how to do senior programming and things like that. So one of her things that she does is called the inner child. And those, they cut up and they have fun, dancing, bubbles, drawing, all those things. Yeah, it's important.
We gotta get them into it, because they're the future, no matter what. Our children are the future, and then what we pour into them, it becomes a legacy. It transforms into the next generation and the next generation, for sure. You got it. Man, so we're gonna start wrapping down in just a bit, but before we do so, I wanna make sure that we talk about some tips and some things that we can share with people. Because now more than ever, I'm gonna speak for me, y'all can speak for y'all, but I'm gonna keep it a buck, okay? Now more than ever, it is so important for us to have control. Like you said, what do we do when the trucks don't come, right? To have control over our food. We know where we are governmentally and everything else. How and why is it important now more than ever to either connect with, like you said, the spaces exist, connect with the ones that exist, or create garden spaces and farms and start growing our own food? Why is it important now more than ever?
It's so important right now to me that food will get more expensive, and seeds don't cost that much, you know. And also too, I have a book load of things that you can put up for the winter, you know. Older people, they used to do that all the time, you know. And then once they have so much of it, they share it with the neighbors, you know. And that's what I like to do, like, right now, I had a flood in my house, I had about 200 yards I had to get rid of because of the flood, because I had too much. And the water came in my house and I had to get rid of it. And, I'm trying to get that back. And,
So food storage and preparation.
yeah, because it takes a little work, but hey, once you do that work and find out that later on, you can survive off of that work, it's beautiful, you know.
And how long does it last when you can food? I know it may vary, but on average.
Oh, boy, it can last for years. You know, it don't have to be just that winter. You know, it can last for years, you know.
Necessary.
You can, and you can pickling lasts even longer, I think.
And with pickle, you just need a little vinegar, right?
Pretty much.
A little vinegar, though.
Sterilize. Yeah. I think, it's really important to plant some greens. You know, the collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens, any kind of greens, beet greens, you know, have probably the highest nutrient components that I know. And will heal the body, feed the cells. And I say, if you're gonna plant something, go buy yourself some organic vegetables that have seeds. And then keep seeds, and you clean those vegetables, put your seeds in the ground. Get yourself a pot, put those seeds in the ground, and boom, there you have it. But greens, you know, greens and herbs, you know,
Herbs
have
have
those two things.
For sure, because herbs are healing. I mean, we gotta think about this too. I don't think people think about this as much as they should. Food can either kill you or heal you. Like, real life, food, it's either gonna kill you or heal you. So we gotta make some wise decisions on what we're doing. And so herbs, yes, so many different herbs have so many different benefits to literally help heal your body if you're sick or anything else. But just the food we eat, like you said, the greens, the beans.
Don't
the
cook them to
everything.
death, okay? Let them have a little life left. Don't cook them until they're wilted to hell. And then you can make salads, you can make tea, you can make herbs that you put on your foods to season them. You know, you can do a lot of things with those herbs and those greens.
Greens, she said, put it on the list, get you some greens. Yes.
What was the question again?
So one, why is it important now to focus on gardening, growing your own food, or connecting the spaces that do, and then tips that you may have for people?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, gardening and growing food has always been an important thing. I think there's an opportunity now for us to, you know, connect with each other, right? Like, I think what our world is showing us is that our community is right here with us, right? Like, and I think that's the opportunity for us to continue to build with each other. A book keeps on popping in my head. I want to share it, and I don't know if y'all read it, but it's called The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. And that book is and then they're saying like that book is kind of like a premonition of what's happening now, right? And in it does share about like how, you know, the changes in our climate has impacted, you know, different places, and how like people have to resort to doing things that, you know, we kind of grew up doing, right? But I bring that up because like I think it's important that, you know, we can use this as an opportunity for us to reconnect with each other, right? And I think food is so simple. It's a simple way. We all need it.
But necessary.
Yeah, it's necessary.
Simple
We
and
need
necessary.
it in order to live and to thrive, right? And I think that with a lot of our elders that have the experience of what it is to grow food, I think it's an opportunity for us to intergenerationally connect with each other. As for a tip, I like the tip of, you know, like you were saying about, you know, just having, you know, just get a pot, you know, put it on your back porch, you know, experiment a little bit. You know, I think that we don't really do that a whole lot in our communities. We just don't experiment with things and see how things work. Like Robert said, you know, you test it out and see if it works. If it doesn't, you do it again, you know, until you get it right. And I think food, I think that's important, so.
I mean, this is what we tell the kids all the time. It's a garden, it may not come up. It doesn't mean you didn't love it. It doesn't mean you didn't do everything you could. We don't know. It's all an experiment, just like life. And you take what happened and you say, oh, maybe next year I'll do this, or maybe next year I'll do that. Or maybe I'm only gonna grow stuff that's pretty. But you have to keep going on. You can't just stop. And that's the other thing I like about a garden. If you're gonna do it, do it. It's just like life. You know, you can pause, but you have to keep going forward. You just have to keep going forward. So, and in terms of tips, tomatoes. Everybody in Chicago thinks it's hard to grow tomatoes. It is not. Cherry tomatoes.
now, right?
Yes, we have tomatoes like nothing in the garden. Those little baby cherry tomatoes. That's the easiest thing to grow for anyone. Yeah.
I definitely appreciate the idea of starting small. Now, I have a whole thread on Instagram where I'm just saving reels on how to grow. Look, Rodney over there, absolutely, yeah. I'm just saving all the videos on like how they're repurposing things. It is crazy that we don't even think about it. Like you said, the food you buy, you can chop the bottom or the top off, plant that in some water, put it in the dirt, and now you got a whole tree in your backyard. So like, we don't even think about it though. We just throw that stuff away, and that is a whole nother plant, a whole nother resource that you can have to feed your family and your community.
Or you can just buy somebody else's seeds. No.
And then it's so many spaces that you all have named already that are doing the work. So if you don't know, you can learn. Well, you said you all have a training garden, right?
It's called a demonstration.
A demonstration garden.
You're welcome to come and join me anytime.
So that's actually a great space. Can we just go through really quickly and let people know where they can find you, how they can get tapped in, and how they can connect?
I'll say I'm on 650 North Latrobe. That's at the corner of Chicago and Marion.
Okay.
So if you over there, hey, stop by. You don't have to do the work if you don't want to. But I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
I'm sure.
I'm like him, I'm gonna put you to work.
If you're here, you might as well go. That's great.
Okay, we're Blacks in Green, and our headquarters is located at 6431 South Cottage Grove Avenue. In fact, on the 25th, you're invited, especially if you live in West Woolon, because it will be free to those who live in West Woolon, our fish fry.
The veggies, and is there like any websites for you all or social media pages?
Yeah, CCG got a website right
Okay,
here.
is it ccg.org?
CCG.org.
Okay,
Or you can put just CCG.com.
say Google it, baby.
You'll get them.
Ours is www.blacksandgreen.org.
Awesome, thank you. Ladies, so again, how can people find you, get tapped in?
So the Outwest Gallery and Cafe will be open, like I said, next year. But you can reach out to me, on any, social media handle, Vanessa Stokes. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Right now I have a fundraising campaign.
I was like, you better mention
I know.
crazy.
He was about to mess up.
Like, you better mention don't mention that crazy stuff.
I do have a fundraiser going on right now. It's called People Powered Project. So, just, looking at the landscape of how we fund our projects, especially now with all the different developments that are happening along our corridors in our community. I think it's an opportunity for us to figure out how the community can be involved in those different projects. So part of the Outwest Gallery and Cafe, we're going to convert into a worker-owned co-op, right? So, that is a whole new way of looking at sustainability in business and wealth creation. So, just to give you a little bit. So this is kind of like this People Power Project fundraiser, which you can find on GoFundMe. And you just write in People Power Projects, it'll pop up, and please donate and share. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay.
You can find me, so I'm a steward, I work for Neighbor Space, that's neighbor-space.org. You can go onto our website and you can look in the drop-down menu to see if there are any gardens in your area. We have 140 gardens. In South Shore, we have 2 really nice gardens, one on 71st and Grandin, one on 70th and Merrill, but we have some nice farms. We have some really nice farms that are coming up too, and those are in southeast side Chicago, and many of them are run by BIPOC people. So, and also, I don't know, I guess we should talk about urban growers, because that's a resource that's there, it's up and running, that's something you guys can visit on Saturdays. If you have a follow-up, can you put addresses and things? If people don't know about Urban Growers Collective, started by the great Erica Allen, it's a beautiful space, and if nothing else, they have goats.
If nothing else.
Nothing else.
Bet you
They
go.
have goats. Go look at the goats frolicking, and it makes you happy. So, yes.
That's amazing. It is in our city, and there's so many other spaces and places on every side of Chicago where people are growing and people are doing. We just gotta know and support these places when we find out about them and share them. So thank y'all for being here. Thank you for doing the hard work that you're doing. It is not easy, I'm sure. It's backbreaking work getting out there, but it's a labor of love. And then when you see that first tomato come up,
I know.
when you see that first peanut, you like, Lord, I'm doing something. I'm doing something out here in these streets. So I thank you all, and I will be coming by all your spaces to collect. Okay, I'll have my little wagon. We'll give you a wagon. I'll have my little wagon with me.
No, I got 7 of them.
Oh, I can ride with yours.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ride with yours. And I'm
Yes.
gonna collect all the produce and get all of that. So again, one more time, thank you, Natalie Perkins. Thank you, Vanessa Stokes. Thank you, Winfrey. Thank you, Mr. Robert Hart. You all have done an amazing job today. And before we leave, can you please just give a closing remark on anything that you need the people to know that we have not talked about yet?
Yes, I got one.
All right.
Look, just like this plant right here, a lot of people say they don't have a green thumb. But it's not exactly a green thumb, it's a green finger. Take about that much of your finger, stick it down in the soil. See, I got moist on my finger. You don't water.
That's
If
true.
you-
That's
If
you don't get that moist on your finger, be in your water.
Okay.
That's my tip.
About that much of your finger.
That's good.
Noted. Noted.
Okay.
How you follow up on that, right? We got tips.
Well, my tip is, when you're getting that vegetable that you cut and you got those seeds, you take those seeds and you put them in a little bit of soil and you just keep them warm like a little baby with a little blanket on it. And just keep it moist, and after a while, you see the little baby squiggling out. And there's life in them seeds. Okay, just keep them warm until they get to be a little bit bigger, and then you can transplant them to a bigger pot. And so on and so forth. Pretty soon you got a tree in your yard.
Alright, so basically, we're gonna recap that you get you some fruit or vegetable. You
Yes.
take the seeds out and you clean it.
Take the seeds out.
You put it in a
Yeah,
little
organic,
bag.
so,
Organic, we can't
yes.
play with the
All right.
pesticides and all that other
That's
stuff.
right.
It's organic. Put a little bed of soil,
Yes.
keep them moist,
Keep them moist
and then eventually,
and warm,
and more.
and you will see them coming up in no time.
And then you transplant and you plant.
When they get about yay big,
Yeah.
then you can transplant.
All right. No, I'm be out here gardening, y'all. I tell you that. Listen, or I'll be with them.
I would say, say hello to your neighbor.
Oh,
I would say that. Like, I think we're so accustomed to not saying hello to people or not connecting with folks on our blocks. So I would say, if you could, when you step out of your house and you see somebody that's on your block, say good morning, say hello. And start connecting that way. It's very simple, but it can be challenging.
It's impactful.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. I think people are also a little more likely to look out for you when you build even just that smaller connection. I'll give a real quick example. So me and my son, this was right before actually we started talking trash. We would go and just walk around the block. And so I would tell him in the house to pick up trash if something's on the floor, whether he put it there or not, to pick it up. So he would want to do that same thing when we went outside. At the time, he's like 2. So he's like reaching down, trying to pick up stuff. I'm like, hold on now, baby. Hold up, okay, show me how to touch a little trash. So one day he did it right in front of the door. I walked right back in the house. I grabbed gloves, I grabbed carpet bag. So from that day forward, every time we went on a walk, we would be cleaning. And so just from that experience, we would speak to the neighbors and they would come out sometimes when they see us and say, hey, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And so just that, I about know the whole block now just from going out and cleaning and just building those little connections by just saying hello. Even if I don't know their name or they don't know mine. When they see me or they see my baby, and if they need help or if I need help, we're gonna look out for each other.
That's how it starts. Just, it's very simple, and I think that we, like you were saying, gardening is simple, right? Like, it's a very simple thing to just put a seed in the ground and water it, let the sun do its thing, and the whole nine. It's the same thing with community, same thing. Just saying hello to folks on your block, you know, being able to just connect in that easy way. Over time, people are accustomed to seeing you, and then they'll start saying hello back. Next thing you know, they'll be in your garden, they'll be helping you move. But I had my next door neighbor, I had, you know, like, I was moving, and the folks that were supposed to help me move didn't show up. And my next door neighbor helped me move. You know what I mean? So, like, those are the things I think.
Community gardening,
Yeah,
people gardening.
yeah, people gardening, right?
I would say, if you see something that you love, don't be afraid to ask. It's just like, I did not know that was a Blacks and Green garden, but I kept asking around. I didn't know who built those fairy gardens, and I kept asking around. Just, you know, give the love. I love this. How can I do it? Who comes here? Don't be afraid. It's the engagement of the whole thing. You know, in our garden, we have trees that overshadow the sidewalk, and we have berries. That happens all over Chicago where you get the berries. The kids don't know if the berries are poison or not. They can ask us. Don't be afraid to ask. You may get somebody that says, I'm not talking to you. I don't know, go away. But you may not. You may not, and you have to open it up. It's just like anything else. You have to be the one to initiate certain things. And if it doesn't happen, you have to walk on and initiate some more. Yeah, absolutely.
And what I love about this and how it relates to farming and gardening and doing the work that all of you all are doing so beautifully, whether it's cultivating the people or cultivating the ground and the food and the produce and all the things, is that we have everything we need within ourselves, within our homes, within our capabilities, within our community. We have everything we need if we work together, come together, and do the work. So thank y'all for doing what you do. Thank you for the organizations that you're representing, for them doing the broader work. And I appreciate all of y'all and y'all time. Shout out to our audience that's here today. Live taping today, y'all. We got our audience. Do we have any questions from the audience before we wrap? Amen. That means y'all did your job.